recap of what we did today. We talked about like a couple of little concepts to add some depth and some character to your fills. One is using 32nd notes as pickups into a 16th note fill. So basically, like quickly putting in another gear that's a related speed. This would be something where you're on the and of 4, you're going to have 4 quick 32nd notes coming into a full bar of 16ths. Or on the and of 2, you're having 4 quick 32nd notes coming into 2 bars of 16ths. So it's going to sound like like this. 2, 3, 4. So again, it's on the and of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2, 3, 4. And 2, 3, 4. And so you saw that in the middle of that I switched from doing something where it's kind of all over the place to a very traditional roundhouse fill, and it kind of sucked the energy out of that, took the wind out of the sails. Like that little jazzy beginning, that kind of funky start, that anticipation, kind of lends itself better to a more conversational fill. And we talked about a particular sort of technique or concept for conversational fills that we were calling the octopus. The idea here is just sort of a mental exercise to get away from such a rigid structure of the orchestration that it's got to go here, then here, then here, then here, but instead to think, well, there's this body, and this is similar to the left hand stays at home, right hand travels, except we're going to let the left hand travel. What we want to do though is think, we're coming back to the snare. The snare is home. The snare is sort of the body of this octopus, but there's tentacles, and they go, and they maybe follow each other, and maybe they don't. But what we really want to make sure is that we're staying true to the flow. In other words, that we didn't speed up and go crazy chaotic. It's a very clever octopus that's very purposeful. And also that we stay true to the space we have. Because after all, we think about drum fills, again, and I mentioned this in the lesson. Most of the time if you're playing in like a high school jazz band or a college jazz band, or you're out there kind of in the world playing with other musicians, as the name suggests, fill is just some space you get to fill. What you get is this much real estate. You can't keep on going and they wait for you to be done. You have this much space. Maybe it's a full bar. Maybe it's 2 bars. Maybe it's half a bar, just a 3 and a 4. Maybe it's just 4. And we've talked about that before, but a lot of times it'll just be written with slashes that cover like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll have the word fill over it. They don't tell you what to do. You do what seems right to you, but you only get this much space. So when we do this octopus concept, the things that are important are keep the flow tight. We're choosing 16th notes here for our flow. And keep the actual duration accurate and correct. In this case, we're going to use a 1 bar fill. So I want it to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But instead of going 1 end, 2 end, 3 end, 4 end, or roundhouse fill, I want it to be like this. You can see, I'm thinking about it like I got these tentacles that move and occasionally have something to say. But they are a punctuation. And the body, most of the fill takes place quietly, a little more, I'm struggling for the word here, but takes place with a little less fanfare on the snare. So we've got this body on the snare. This is happening on the snare. Except we got this boom, boom, ba-da-da, boom, ba-da-da, whatever. So I don't really care what you do there, as long as it fits the space and keeps tight to the 16th note flow. So let's put it all together. On the and of 4, we're playing beat. Then on the and of 4, we've got our and then we're gonna cap it off with a cymbal on 1 after we've done some kind of octopus for 4 beats and back into the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay, so play around with it. Be creative. Get used to that idea. Like, have that in your back pocket. The fact that you could like quickly throw it into another gear. Have that be clean. It sounds great when it's clean and very precise, as opposed to just randomly very fast. So I think it's hard for me to do randomly very fast, but randomly very fast just sounds chaotic. What we want is for you to sound precise, clean, consistent, like you really know what you're doing. So work on that. Work on that idea that for just a second you could sprint. For just a second you could find another gear and be very clean and do 30 seconds. I'm not asking you to do it for 4 bars in a row. I'm not asking you to go. I'm not asking you to do it to the point of fatigue. Just real quick. And you just recover. So practice that, play along, and just one more thing to have in your pocket.